Hey guys, I kind of just want to jump on here and really open the conversation about the connection between stress and hypothalamic amenorrhea. I definitely think that stress is involved. I do not think it's the main driving factor, meaning the main factor that drives HA is underfueling. No doubt. How we get there is where people have these individual experiences. And stress is one of them. Interesting enough is that stress itself, I do not believe, is what leads us to lose our period or develop HA. I do think that we could have delayed ovulation. I do think that we can have an anovulatory cycle. So yes, acute stress can mess with our cycle, no doubt. But we're talking about HA, so that's more than just one cycle. This is like your period is gone missing, like it's not here. So how does stress play a role in that? We have mental stress, physical stress, emotional stress, and even nutritional stress. So nutritional stress is defined as like restriction, starvation, negative energy balance. That is a nutritional stress. That is a stress on the body, no doubt. That's pretty self-explanatory because we can see how underfueling is related to that. So let's go to the other ones. Maybe this is emotional stress. Maybe for whatever reason, and this could be a wide variety. It could be trauma. It could just be a stressful life. It could just be an unhappy situation. It could be just a really difficult season in life. It could be a whole lot of things that leads us to wanting to seek control because we're so stressed in another area of our life that we over control our food and exercise to manage our emotional stress, right? We see that a lot. That's not uncommon. Not everybody that aims to have control over their food and exercise ends up with hypothalamic amenorrhea, but people who do have HA, this is a pathway to it, definitely, right? So if we don't ever address that emotional stress that leads us to want to seek such control over food and exercise, which then leads into weight, control over our weight, control over our body composition. So stress is the beginning, but the driving factor is really the underfueling, right? Then it can go into emotional. So we did it mental, emotional, nutritional. So physical stress, right? That can be exercise, right? And so the exercise that also lights up the HPA axis, right? Like it should, right? That combined with the nutritional stress of under eating leads to HA, right? So the interesting thing about exercise is that not everybody who develops HA comes from over exercising or being addicted to exercises. And some people aren't they just walk. And even then, if it's a level of control, people will be walking 30,000 steps per day, right? That's not normal. We shouldn't be walking 2 marathons in 1 week, right? Unless you're training to be an Olympic walker. I mean, I'm just saying. But anyways, so yes, stress does play a role, but it is not the sole factor on why your period is missing. And so if we simply just try to de-stress and not address the negative energy balance, then you're not going to regain your cycle. You may be less stressed, and that's awesome, right? I totally support that. But if our goal is to regain our cycle, then we need to be less stressed and have a proper, adequate nutritional intake. That is the missing key sometimes when people only focus on stress. Another stress that I have seen lately, it's a combination of stress, right? So this could be personality. We like to call this type A. Maybe it's an environmental factor of I just like to live on the go, go, go. We call this high intensity life, right? Where you don't even realize the pace that you are running at until you stop running at that pace, right? That combined with any other factor, plus always adding on the nutritional stress, winds up leading to having major gut issues, right? And this is an interesting rabbit hole, so stick with me, right? We see this manifested as unresolved stress in the gut that leads to less enzymes, digestive enzymes being made, your food's not being broken down as well, you're not absorbing it as well, leads to a leaky gut, dysbiosis, food intolerances, even autoimmune symptoms start to flare up, right? And once that level has happened, the food intolerances and the flare-ups, now we start restricting food groups, or we get on really restrictive diets that cuts out entire food groups, that lowers our caloric intake, and now we're back to underfueling, right? So while underfueling is always going to be what causes HA, there's many entry points to that from the stress component on this, or maybe you've experienced a different manifestation of stress that led to underfueling. I would love to hear about it. Yeah, we're just all here to learn and share our experiences. And so I hope that you found this helpful. All right.